to a brand new kit.
Welcome back, eSIM Studios podcast, live stream episode number 216 on this Saturday afternoon, October the 12th, 2024. I want to thank everybody for joining me today. Hope everybody's having a good weekend out there. Got a couple of stories we're going to get into. Now, if you do miss any of the stories, any of the news for today, you can always hit the replay. I'm streaming across multiple platforms. You can always come back. eSIM Studios YouTube channel. So go to YouTube, type in eSIM Studios in the search box, search icon, and you'll find us there. And all the news stories, I'm going to edit each news story as an individual video so you can check out the clips, or you can watch the full live stream in the live section. Also, you can catch us on Apple Podcasts. You can catch us on Samsung Podcasts. You can catch us on YouTube Music, Amazon Music, Spotify, iHeartRadio app, wherever you get your podcast at. Do the same thing as you would do on YouTube. Go to the search box, search eSIM Studios, and we shall appear. If you give me a second, let me clear my throat, and we will get started. All right, let's see. So we have a couple of stories today. So Samsung news, Gmail news, Android news, Apple news, and all the above. So let's get through these real quick. I know y'all have a busy weekend as I do. So let's run through these real quick. I was going to put this off until tomorrow, but I thought, you know what? I got to go live today. So let's go live. First story. Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6 Special Edition. That's correct. Samsung is coming out with a Special Edition Z Fold 6. Now, what makes it so special, right? What is the Special Edition all about? Well, we got some good news, some really exciting news, and some not so exciting news. So, Samsung's coming out, if you hadn't already known, right? The Z Fold 6 and the Flip 6, brother, sister, or brother, however you want to put it. Cousin, brother, whatever. Or dad, son, whatever you want to call it, however you want to classify it. Anyways, Flip 6, Fold 6 released, I believe it was in August, so a few months ago. Well, Samsung is coming out with a special edition Fold 6, not Flip 6, but Fold 6. Opens up like a book. You see it right there in the picture. So the special edition is going to be, and this is more of like, I would call this an Ultra, right? Basically Ultra version. So we don't have official name. Some people are calling it Z Fold 6 Slim. Some are calling it Z Fold 6 Ultra. I'm going to call it Special Edition. Until we get an official name for this device, I'll just call it Special Edition. I think I've called it all of the above, right? Just depends on what day you catch me. But what's going to make this Special Edition different from the original? Well, this device seems like it's going to be a whole different device. Now, it's still going to fold. It's still going to open up like a book. But it's really weird. We've never seen Samsung do this. So this special edition is going to be thinner. The dimensions are going to be slightly different. Still going to keep the, relatively same dimensions. It'll look similar when it's opened to what it looks like in this picture. Now, what is different? So, as I mentioned, it's going to be it's going to be thinner. And it's going to have an almost crease-free display. That's correct. So we knew in the past that Samsung was coming out with this special edition. We knew it was going to be thinner, right? That report has been out for a while. And today we get news that it's going to have a new hinge on it. and this hinge is going to produce an almost zero crease. Now, if you've paid attention or if you've been subscribed to our YouTube channel, you would know that we previously covered Apple's iPhone Flip. Now, that's currently in development, and their roadmap has it for release with the iPhone 18 series in 2026. What makes Apple's iPhone Flip so special? Now, it's going to be a flip like the Z Flip 6. It's not going to open up like a book. It's going to open up like an alligator mouth. Kind of like the old StarTAC, right? If you're old Motorola, if you're in your 40s, you know what I'm talking about. Now, Apple was planning on releasing a flip device, iPhone Flip, but they had been putting it off for a few years due to always pushing it back because they did not want to release an iPhone Flip that had a crease in the display. And I understand that. I get it. Apple's been trying for so many years to find a hinge that would allow, when fully open, to have no crease. Now, getting back to Samsung has been putting out foldables for, I guess, the last 6 years, right? They're on their 6th version. Now, before that, before releasing the phone, they probably have another few years in research and development, R&D in foldables, and they still have not made a crease-free display or crease-free hinge. Jumping back on Apple train, Apple finally developed a crease-free hinge for their upcoming iPhone Flip. Now, as I mentioned, Apple did not want to put out a flip phone with a crease, and I get it. Now, what makes this kind of secluded just to Apple with their crease-free hinge, you would think, well, can't Samsung just copy the same hinge that Apple put on there? Can you copy the same hinge design that Apple is putting on their iPhone Flip? No, you cannot, because Apple patented their hinge. Yes, they have legal rights to the design and manufacturing of that hinge, meaning Samsung can't just copy what Apple puts out as far as a hinge to allow for a zero crease display. So once Apple finally got just the right hinge to make a zero crease, they patented it and they greenlit the iPhone Flip. So that's currently planning on being put into production in the iPhone 18 series in 2026. Jumping back on to Samsung has gotten better with these creases. So if you look at the first few generations, there is a noticeable crease. It bothers some people, right? I personally know some people that have tried, I think it was the Flip 3 or Flip 4, and just couldn't do it, right? It bothers them too much. And I will admit, the crease in the Flip and Fold series up till about the 5th generation, each year that Samsung comes out with a new foldable, the crease, meaning when you open it, that where it folds right there, it's not symmetrically flat, right? It's not a flat plane that you would normally see on a regular phone. It has a little crease in the middle, and if you get it in just the right lighting, you can see the reflection where it warps and bends, and you can also feel it when you're running your finger up and down the display in the crease, right? It's gotten less and less pronounced on each model as the years pass. This year on the Flip 6, where is it? I think it's in the other room. It's gotten smaller, but it's still there. Now, it seems like they're going to make a huge leap in this special edition Z Fold 6, where it's close to a zero crease. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see what it looks like. Now, that's the good news. So you're going to get a super thin device. It's going much thinner than it is now. It's half the thickness as it is right now. So that's the good news. And you're getting an almost no crease display when fully open. Now, It is going to support S Pen, so you can still use S Pen with this new Fold 6 Special Edition. And a couple of months back when we got first word of this, we thought, ooh, maybe the Special Edition, they're going to put a S Pen in there, right? Like the S24 Ultra, where you can put an S Pen inside of the device, but that's not the case. So the Special Edition, again, will have a very, very, very thin frame, and it'll have a reduced thickness of a couple of millimeters, and we'll have a almost no crease display. That's the good news. So what's the bad news? Well, chances are you getting one, I'm not going to say is highly unlikely. Let's just say it'll be a little more difficult because Samsung's only releasing this in the Asian markets, more specifically in South Korea. So for whatever reason, I don't know what led to them making this decision. I think this would be a phenomenal product to launch to the entire world, right? So if you really, really, really want one, you will be able to buy one. You're going to have to get it on eBay, I'm sure, because Samsung, again, is not going to sell it over here. So if you really want one, wait for this to get released and then go on eBay and buy one. Now, it's going to be very, very expensive. The original Fold 6, I think, starts at $16, $17, $18, $99. I can't remember. I'm expecting this new one to actually, you know what? Let me see what it starts out at, because that'll tell us how much this new one will be. Z Fold 6. $1,700. So $1,700, and that's on sale. Jesus. $1,700. So I'm expecting this new one to cost, I don't think they're going to, even though after taxes you'll get over $2,000. I think what Samsung is going to do is price this right under $2,000. I think they're going to price it at $1,999, $1,999.99, a penny under $2,000. And I think if you're going to pick one up on eBay, probably going to add on another $500, right? Which sounds insane to spend $2,500, and that's before taxes. Because you know, sellers on eBay are going to mark it up because they need to make a profit on the sale. So you're looking at roughly $2,500, and after taxes, let's see what that puts you at. $2,500. Now I'm going to do state sales tax here in Texas, so wherever you're at, it might differ. But for me, if I was going to pick one up, let's just say $24.99, right? Let's make it a realistic price that we'll see. $24.99 times 1.0825%. $2,700. $2,705 to be exact. That is crazy. But if you got the money to spend and you want to check it out, you will be able to buy it, again, just not from Samsung. So be on the lookout for that. We do not have a release date. Let me scan this article real quick and see if we do have a release date here. So Ice Universe, who is famously probably one of the more recognized Samsung leakers, who gets almost all of his content, everything he puts out there basically comes to fruition. So he's very accurate with his leaks. He says Samsung Z Fold 6 Special Edition, this time they have done a good job in crease control, better than ever, which means it will be still there, but it will be much less of a crease. Target markets. So where's this going to be available? The smartphone, the Z Fold 6, is likely to be launched in key markets including South Korea and China. Slimmer design, the special edition model in China. like Trump, China. Slimmer design, the special edition model is expected to feature a slimmer design compared to the standard Z Fold 6. Advanced camera features. Wow, so here's some more features I was unaware of. It's gonna get the S24 Ultra camera setup. So for what reason, only God knows, Samsung does not put the very best camera setup on their foldables. I don't know why. You would think a phone like the Flip 6 that starts out at $1,000 and the Fold 6, which starts out at $1,700, you would think they would include the very best cameras Samsung has to offer on any mobile device on their most expensive devices. They don't do that. I don't know why. But it looks like they're going to put it on the special edition to entice people to buy this one. So not only is it going to be thinner, not only is it going to have almost a zero crease in the display when it's open, it's going to get the 200 megapixel sensor that you can find only on the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. Wow, what a big move. It's about time. So reports suggest that the device may feature a 200 megapixel primary camera similar to the one found in the S24 Ultra, enhancing photography capabilities significantly. Software, it's going to have One UI. If this gets One UI, okay, 6.1.1, that makes sense. Now, we're looking for a release date. Of course, it'll have Android, of course, it'll feature Galaxy AI. It'll come with, damn, I wish they put the Snapdragon 8 Gen 4 in here. It's going to have the 8 Gen 3, this report is saying, the same chipset in the S24 series. Since the 8 Gen 4 is right around the corner, I wish they would just put the 8 Gen 4 in this, because they're going to release this at the same time that the 8 Gen 4 will be available. Because the 8 Gen 4, a Snapdragon CPU, the 8 Gen 4 is going to be announced and released here in about a week. And I know Samsung's not releasing this Z Fold 6 special edition within a week. It's probably going to get released next month. So why buy a $24 or $2,700 device after taxes? Why would you buy that with a year-old CPU in it when you can get a device that has the new 8 Gen 4 in it? Like, it's like trade-offs, right? You get this badass foldable that everybody wants with all these specs, but oh yeah, it's gonna have a year-old CPU in there, and you have to spend $2,700 to get it. What? Huh? That does not make sense to me. But oh boy. Well, it is what it is. So that's what you get. So if you want one, stay tuned to our eSIM Studios YouTube channel. I am going to keep a close eye on this. There is no release date currently set, but I will dig around and see if I could find a projected release date. From what I remember, I thought they said November in a previous leak, so it's about a month away. So stay tuned to the channel, subscribe to eSIM Studios YouTube channel, and I will keep everybody updated on the release date of this device. Now, Apple. So, after using this for today's my first day of today's the first day of me using an iPhone in 6 years, 5 years, 6 years. And I'm going to leave my opinions. I'm going to leave my review of this. I'm going to save it for a video I should be uploading in the next day or so. My first thoughts, initial reaction, all that good stuff. But when it did dawn on me that I could not change my Apple ID. Now, for those of you that don't know, my OG Apple ID has been blocked. So Apple blocked my original iCloud account that I've been using for years after I made the Nothing Messages app and iPhone app messaging video. After I put that out, what do you know? Mysteriously, I cannot sign into my iCloud account anymore. Wonder why, Apple. So it dawned on me that I gotta pick. Well, I'm not going to tell you what I did, but I found a workaround, Apple. I found a workaround. I'm using this, so I logged in. But I did know that I have to choose wisely because I was not able to change it, right? After you select an Apple ID, it's going to stay that way, right? Well, guess what? It looks like you're going to be able to change it now. So in the upcoming software version, iOS 18.1, that new iOS version will let users change and or delete icloud.com primary email addresses. So if you have a eSIM studios at icloud.com, that's not it. You will be able to change it to computer studios at icloud.com. Right? Which is a big change because Apple has not allowed you to change your Apple ID for years, I think, since forever. And actually, they're changing the name. So instead of Apple ID, it's going to be called Apple Account. That's correct. So officially, Apple, they're going to retire the term and the name Apple ID, and they're going to rename it, rebrand it to your Apple Account. They're going to do that in connection with being able to change it to whatever you want. Upon iOS 18.1, whenever that gets released. I think it's supposed to release here sometime before the end of the year. It says, as of iOS 18.1, users can change the primary email address associated with your Apple account, formerly known as Apple ID, and use either a new address or the prior one for logging in. Previously, users would have to delete their old primary email and re-verify their identity in order to pick a new one. What a hassle. Even if you used an alias, the primary email address could still be seen by others when users send requests to share or collaborate with documents. The same applies to sending invitations to events via the calendar app. Very interesting. This change, first spotted by Mac rumors, allowed those who picked a flip art at iCloud or at mac.com or at me.com, never heard of that, or have simply outgrown the old primary email address, or maybe you have a new business that you want to go by, or maybe you started a YouTube channel that you want to go by. The move by Apple also allows users for the first time to turn off a primary iCloud email address in addition to the option of deleting it. So be on the lookout for that. iOS 18.1, I believe, gets released. Let's find out. iOS 18.1 release date. Let's see. iOS 18.1 release date. Things are firming up for a big Halloween week for Apple, with the company's next operating system reportedly coming early in the next week. Ahead of those launches, we've recently seen what appears to be one of the most significant physical product leaks in years with the new MacBook. Okay, so here's what they're going to do. Apple iOS 18.1 software version with Apple AI is going to be released on October 28th. So in roughly 2 weeks, we shall get iOS 18.1. So if you've been dying to change your Apple ID and now newly named Apple account, you will be able to do so on October 28th. Now, as you know, I'm always trying to find scams or hacks that you need to be on the lookout for. Stuff that you can easily fall into. I mean, it doesn't take a dummy to get hacked. It doesn't take a dummy to get scammed. It happens to everybody, right? But the more you know about these, the more you know how they work, the greater chance you will be able to catch it before they catch you, essentially. So here's a new Gmail scam. Here's a new AI scam running through Gmail. It's kind of sophisticated, but I want to let you know how it works so you can be on the lookout for this, because keeping your personal information, your funds, your accounts safe seems like a tall task in itself, right? Just trying to stay ahead of all this, but that's why you subscribe to eSIM Studios. I try to find these things and bring them to light and let you know of these whenever they start gaining unfortunate popularity, right? So check this one out. It's pretty interesting. So it happened to this guy, Sam Mitrovic, who actually has a blog, popular blog, and he got. So we'll get through this real quick. Let me show you how this works, right? So this is called a Gmail AI scam. So here's how it works. Recently, this gentleman, this blogger, he received a notification to approve a Gmail account recovery attempt, right? Like when you sign in, and you can't remember the password, and then you hit forgot password. Well, they don't really do that on your account. They're basically pretending to do that, alerting you, right? So it's kind of and I'll explain it here in a second. It's kind of they try to flip it around on you. So this gentleman received a notification to approve a Gmail account recovery attempt. So somebody pushed forgot my password on his Gmail account, or when trying to sign in. The request originated from the United States. The author denied the request, and about 40 minutes after denying the request, he received a call. He missed the call, right? The missed call showed caller ID as Google Sydney, as in Sydney, Australia. He forgot about it and just kept it moving. A week later, more or less the same exact time during the day, he received another notification to approve his Gmail account recovery, again from somewhere located in the United States, and he said, you guessed it, about 40 minutes later, received another phone call, which he actually did pick up this time. It was an American voice, polite professional. The number was Australian. He introduces himself and said that there's suspicious activity on your account. This is what the Google employee, who is really the hacker, was telling him on the phone, that there's been suspicious activity on your account. This scammer asks if the blogger is traveling. The blogger said, no, I'm not traveling. He asked if I logged in from Germany, which the blogger replied, no. He says that someone had access to the blogger's account for a week, and that they have downloaded the account data. And then he got a flashback. He remembers, oh yeah, I did get a recovery attempt last week, right? In the meantime, I Google the phone number, which leads me to official Google documentation. So he Googled the phone number that they were calling from, right? Because remember, it said Google Sydney. And this popped up once he Googled that phone number, this message popped up, right? It's right down here, Google Australia. So the scammers are really good. Yes, they can spoof or fake phone numbers. It's actually quite easy, and I'm not going to tell you how to do it. I know how to do it, but you can do your homework and figure it out. It is possible to spoof a phone number. So the person you're calling on the other end sees Google Sydney or Google Argentina or Google Brazil, right? So the hackers did spoof this phone number. So when he tried to back search who's contacting him, it does look valid up until this point, right? The number seems legit. So the blogger who is almost getting scammed, he says, I ask him to send an email. He politely says he will do so and give him a moment. In the background, I can hear someone typing on a keyboard, and throughout the call, there is some background noise reminiscent of a call center. The scammer tells the blogger that he has sent the email. After a few moments, the email arrives, and at first glance, the email looks legit. The sender is from a Google domain. Now, timeout from the story. What I'm wondering is what would entice the blogger who's attempting to get scammed? What would entice him to ask the scammer who says he's from Google to send him an email? I don't know. But he did. The email he got is from google.com. Now, so the number was spoofed to make it look like Google, a real Google phone number. And apparently the email is spoofed too, because I'm looking at the email down here and it says at google.com. So that's one of my first things I do when I get an email and it looks suspicious. Go to the sender. Who is sending it? Is it a google.com or is it a abc123.google.com? Right after that at symbol, make sure it says thecompany.com. And you can always backtrack. If it doesn't look right or if something looks off, right after where it says the at and then it says whatever.com, you can actually jump on your browser and hit abc123.google.com or google.com, and it should be a legit website. Now, this is scary because now it looks like they can spoof email accounts too. They spoofed that email address, and the blogger noticed that the to field contains an email address clearly named Google Mail at internalcasetracking.com, not google.com. So let's highlight where he found the first red flag. Where is the to? Okay, let's look up here at the top. It's kind of hard to see because it's small print. Hang on. I'm getting older. I can't see. Right under where it says Google Workspace Support. Look below that. So here's what they did. So they're clever, but they're not that clever. So you got to think, right? So remember, you want the sender to be a real.com, because if it's not, it's coming from somebody pretending. So here's what they did. They basically flip-flopped the from and to, right? So, they flip-flopped the subject with the from who sent it. So if you look under Google Workspace Support, it says internalcasetracking.com. And instead of putting a subject, it looks like they put a real Google address to try to see if you just glance at it, it looks real, and then keep on moving on. You got to be real clever about who's sending it and where from they're sending it. You see what I'm saying? So that's the first red flag. The caller said hello. I ignored it for about 10 seconds. Later said hello again. At this point, I realized it was an AI voice, as the pronunciation and spacing were too perfect. I was in the car at this point. He was parked. I hung up and drove home to do some more digging. At that moment, it struck me. If it was really an AI call, I could have reprogrammed it and prompted it to sing me a song. I don't know about that. I called back, but it went to voicemail along the lines of, "This is Google Maps. We are currently unable to take your call." So they took a real phone number, spoofed it, and it was actually to I guess, the Google Maps department. I don't know how they would use an AI voice, though, because what if it's true? What if you do ask it a question? He said he checked the activity. You manage your Google account, then click security. On the left-hand side menu, look under the recent security activity subheading. The only login sessions were from his own. So let's go here. Someone got tricked. After further digging, I came across this comment on Reddit, similar email hack and or scam to what this blogger received. It looks like the same. Now, I'm reading over this email to see if I would be able to pick it up, because it does say workspace support at google.com. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Here's what you do. Because looking at this a second time, here's what you do. Do just like this blogger did. So if you see somebody attempted to log in, go to your Gmail. Go to, what did he do? Because he saw if somebody attempted to log in, it will be there. It'll show you in your settings. They're just randomly calling people and or emailing people telling somebody's trying to get in your account, when you can easily verify if that's true or not. Because when this guy got home, he checked the sign in activity. You can do this by clicking on your Gmail profile photo in the top right corner. So go into your Gmail account, or go to your Gmail app, click on your photo there in the top right, and then a pop-up menu will appear after clicking on your photo in the Gmail's app, and then select your account. After that, click security, and on the left side you will see a menu. Look under, then select recent security activity, and it will show you if somebody attempted to log in and where from. If it's clean, if it's totally you logging in and nobody else, then you know they're trying to scam you. If it does show somebody attempted to log in, then it might possibly be true. Point of the story is, please be safe, please be careful. Stuff can get you. So just try to do a little homework whenever attempting to reset passwords, or whenever you get contacted from, whether it be a bank or Google or Apple or something important. Try to do as much homework as you can to see if this is a real thing, right? Because you never know. These hacks and these scams are getting more and more sophisticated. I'm going to leave a link to this article in the video description after this is over. I didn't do it before, but as soon as this ends, I'm going to link this article in the video description down below. So once this is over, give me about 5 minutes, come back, check this video, and I'll put the link in the video description so you can read this entire article that he typed up in regards to the scam that he almost got. So point of the story is, you can always check your activity. So if somebody did attempt, it might be true. If somebody did attempt, if it's totally clean and no attempts were denied, then you know it is a lie. Now, I'm going to do one more quick story. So apparently, I'm not a big Linux user. I know there are a ton of people out here that are Linux users. Linux is an operating system, right? It's another operating system, just like Windows, right? Just like Mac OS, just like Chrome OS, but runs on Linux. Now, Android is, I guess you could say, Linux based. It has a lot of similarities. So you can run Linux. Of course, you can run Linux on a Windows machine or whatever machine you want to. But it looks like Google is going to bridge and actually let you run your own. It's going to support Android. Google is going to let Android support Linux apps. So you're going to be actually able to officially run Linux apps in Android, just like Chrome OS. So Google is developing the framework to let you run Debian in a virtual machine on your Android device. That is cool. Again, I haven't really used Linux before, although I know people that absolutely love it and don't use Windows, don't use Mac OS. They only use Debian or Linux. Linux is the name. Debian is the, it'd be like Mac OS and Sequoia, right? It's just another version of Linux. Now, you can do it right now. There's actually some emulators on the Google Play Store you can download and run it. But that's kind of like a workaround. This, what Google is doing, is going to officially support Linux. So it's a very, very cool thing that they're doing. I know if you're a developer, developers love Linux. Easier to code, love to build apps on Linux. Many people just prefer it, right? It's a lot lighter. So Windows is very heavy as far as the base. Windows is, it's many gigabytes, right? Linux is a lot lighter, a lot less fluff, just straight to the point, unlike Windows where it's got all sorts of crap added on there. Now, obviously you can delete them, but Linux is a preferred operating system for developers and techies. Google's developing a Linux terminal app for Android. Again, there are some on the Play Store right now. I checked right before because damn it, I thought we could run Linux on Android. Sure enough, you can. It's just unofficial. But now Google's going to make it official. Right? The terminal app can be enabled via developer options and will install Debian in a virtual machine. That is really cool. This app is likely intended for Chromebooks, but it might also be available on mobile devices as well, such as your Pixel. A lot of work can be done in a web browser these days. Some tasks still require installing apps that aren't available on Chrome OS, which is why Google lets you install Linux apps on your Chromebook. While there are ways to run some Linux apps on Android devices, all of those methods have some limitations and aren't officially, there's that word, is not officially at this time supported by Google. Fortunate for us and the end user, Google is finally working on an official way to have Linux on Android. Hallelujah. Now, engineers at Google started working on a new terminal app for Android a couple of weeks ago. This terminal app is part of Android Virtualization Framework, AVF, and contains a web view that connects to a Linux virtual machine via a local IP address, allowing you to run Linux commands from the Android host. Initially, you had to manually enable this terminal app using a shell command and then configure the Linux virtual machine yourself. However, in recent days, Google began work on integrating the terminal app into Android, as well as turning it into an all-in-one app for running a Linux distro in a virtual machine. Do they have a so right there where it says terminal, that's where you can set up a shell and run Linux right there. I have never attempted to do that. Apparently, they're giving directions as far as if you want to try it out. They list these steps right there. I'm not going to go through all those because, honestly, it's pretty geeky. It's pretty boring. But I just wanted to bring this to your attention. If you are a Linux user, if you haven't tried it yet and you do want to give it a try, give Google a few. Give us a few weeks. Give Google a few weeks, and it appears they're working on it and have been working on it and should be ready here shortly. So I'm going to do a full review when this is out and available. I'm going to do a full review on my Pixel of this virtual machine, this Linux virtual machine, and kind of let you know what can be done, what can't be done. I've used it before, just don't use it that much, but have some history with it, but I fully intend to do a complete app review of this. So if you want to wait until the app review is out to kind of see what it looks like, see how you enable it, that's totally cool. So I'll do all the testing here on my end, and you can just sit back and watch and see if that's something that you want to install on your device, right? So it looks like it will be available for not only phones but for Chromebooks as well, which is cool. So I'll link this article in the description box below. Once this video is done, you can tell here it gives you some methods of how to run Linux on your device right now, and as you can tell, it's not that easy. That's why I don't ever mess with it on my phone, because you gotta start a terminal, you gotta enter some commands via the shell, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta jump through all these hoops just to get it up and running, and it's just not worth it for me. But if they're going to officially support it, where all you do is basically go into developer options, switch a toggle on, and basically a couple clicks later, you're up and running. That's perfect. That's awesome. Then I probably will use it. So if you want to wait and check out my review, I'm going to do a how to download, install, and use Linux on Android here whenever it gets fully supported, right? It says what's interesting, before we get out of here, about the patch that adds these settings is that it was tested on the Pixel tablet and Pixel 9 Pro XL. Cool. So we do know it will work officially on it looks like it will work on the Pixel tablet and the Pixel 9 Pro XL. This suggests that the terminal app won't be limited to just Chromebooks. So it will be supported on Android. Sweet. Now, before we get out of here, I just wanted to remind everybody, if you do have a Pixel, Android 15 is right around the corner. So I saw there was a who was it? Jay Will. On Jay Will's channel, I was watching his Pixel video he put out today, his 30-day review of the Pixel phone, and I think he's mentioned something about it being a redundant review, and I was like, what the hell is he talking about? So I watch it, and in this video he discusses, he makes a statement of saying, well, I don't know when this is going to get the October update, because I mean, my Samsung just got it, all my other Android phones have the October update. And I think he forgot. So Google, if you have a Pixel, normally in a normal month, we're on the 12th of October, right? Google traditionally, before they unofficially switched over, officially prior to maybe a year ago, before they made the switch, Google would release the security patches and software updates on the first Monday of every month, right? So we've blown past the first Monday of October. And where's the October update? Where did it go, Jay Will? Where did it go? Well, if you forgot, Android 15 is set to be released. Now, when is that set to be released, Jay Will? This upcoming week. Literally in days, maybe 4 or 5 days. So Google's going to release the stable build of Android 15 with the October security patch. So Google said, Google made a decision. They're not going to release the October security patch on the first Monday of this October, and then literally days after that, release Android 15 update to everybody. They're going to combine the October security patch and Android 15 together, and then send that to Pixel devices here in just a few days. This upcoming week, I believe it's either Monday or Wednesday, so literally just days away. So I put that in the comment, but I think he deletes my comments. I'm not rude or anything. I just say, you must have forgot. Basically what I just explained. I went back to that video a little while ago, and I didn't see my comment there. Whatever. But if I'm saying this because Android 15 right around the corner, we're going to have a huge review of Android 15. Special features, new features, any differences. Now, if you have a new Pixel 9 series, you should be very, very, very excited. This is going to make... So the Pixel right now, the Pixel 9 Pro XL, maybe the phone of the year. I mean, I freaking love this thing. Was I a little overzealous on the fact that it had a poor benchmark score? Yes, I'll admit it. I was probably jumped the gun, was probably wrong to, say the CPU sucks. Yeah, but it does not suck. All right, I was wrong. I admit it. I was wrong. It's phenomenal. Now, again, I don't play games. Y'all know this. I don't have any mobile games on my phone. So maybe, if you're a gamer, maybe it might not be the first phone to select. But I don't play phones. I don't play games. So I love this thing. Does everything I need it to, and very fast and snappy. However, Android 15 is supposed to be super duper optimized for all phones, but especially for this Pixel 9 series. Supposed to get better battery life, Supposed to get improve upon that badass modem they have in there, so even more strength of signal for mobile devices, from carrier services. You're going to get better transitions, better animations, smoother operating if they can do that. Android 14 has been my absolute favorite release of Android of all time. I love Android 14, so I'm really looking forward to this Android 15 coming out this week. So we're going to have a full review of it. Just wanted to remind everybody that Android 15 is literally right around the corner, just days away. So stay tuned to the channel, eSIM Studios YouTube channel. We're going to review it, as I mentioned, a full review of Android 15 right here on the Pixel 9 Pro XL. And don't forget, today, the reason why I'm doing a live stream a little late today, I went outside today with no clouds in the sky and was comparing these two suckers. So I was taking a lot of photos with this and a lot of photos with these two. So I'm gonna put together a video, probably release it tomorrow, of comparisons, still photos, videos. Not an extensive review because I just started using it today, but it'll be a good comparison between Pixel and iPhone, right? And you might be surprised. I was definitely shocked, so I'll just leave it at that and upload the video and let you be the judge of the better photo quality, and then maybe we can review some of the findings, right? With all these are updated, latest software, latest patches, all the apps are updated, so everything's up to par, and very, very fair test. But be on the lookout for that. Should have it uploaded tomorrow, if not Monday at the latest. Trying to get it out ASAP because then I'm kind of behind the 8-ball here with this iPhone thing, since everybody got theirs before I did, but it is all good. Let me say hi to everybody before I get out of here. Walter Sky Jr., what's going on, brother? Thank you for joining us today. It's good to see you around here. Brian, appreciate your support, man. Thank you a lot. You're here every day, and I really appreciate it. You don't get Android 15? Oh, yeah, you're in Canada. Yeah, we don't get Android 15. Next year? That sucks. Linux for giving a new life to older community. Yes. I definitely think so. There's two operating systems. So if you have, and maybe I'll do a video on this. If you have an older laptop, right? Say it's 8 years old, right? An 8-year-old laptop, pretty old, especially in Windows, right? I'm not talking about Mac and MacBooks. I'm talking about Windows. If you have an 8-year-old Windows computer, definitely has stopped getting security updates. It's probably pretty sluggish, right? An 8-year-old CPU, probably pretty old. The best thing to give it a new life is to install Linux and or Chrome OS. So actually, Google makes a really cool conversion, and it's an official conversion where you can install Chrome OS on your old Windows laptop, and it is very fast, very snappy, and it is secure. So, as secure as it can be. I think Google will still update. So basically what you're going to do is turn your old Windows laptop into a Chromebook. I mean, that's basically what it's doing, but you get a nice secure form of Chrome OS. And if you don't know what Chrome OS is, it's pretty cool. I'm actually live streaming right now on Chrome OS. I have my Samsung Chromebook here, and it's badass, right? I kind of forced myself. I have not been a big fan of Chrome OS lately, but I've kind of forced myself using this Samsung Chromebook. I really like it. I can do everything on here. I can unlock phones on here. I can do everything I can do on a Windows laptop. I just can't run Windows programs. But most of the stuff, if you do most of your daily activities from an Android phone or from Chrome on a computer, then you will be able to use Chrome OS. Because you can download and install any Android app you can install on your phone, you can install on Chrome OS, or you can install on an old Windows laptop that has Chrome OS. You can install apps. Very, very cool. And Linux is fairly similar, right? So that's why you can turn an old laptop, you can give it new life by installing Linux or Chrome OS. I might do a video about that. Thank you, Brian. Gave me a good idea. So we'll have an Android, we'll have a iPhone camera review uploaded soon. I'll have a video uploaded on iPhone versus Pixel soon. I'll do a video on Android 15 full review coming up this week. And I'll also do how to install Chrome OS on a Windows laptop and or Linux on an older laptop and give your old laptop some new life. So thank you. You gave me a couple good video ideas, so I appreciate it, guys. Let me get out of here. I'm up against it, and I gotta run. What did you say? You laughed at the benchmarks until you saw the reviews, and I remember what Flossy Carter said about benchmarks. Yeah, Samsung user too. Yeah, I know. I mean, it's true, right? And I knew that coming into this. I just, it was kind of got wrapped up in my own. I was expecting more, right? I was expecting more from the G4 CPU, and when it did not meet my expectations on paper, I was like, here we go again. But I should have learned, like from the last Pixels I've used. I did the same thing last year. Saw the benchmark results from the 8 Pro that got leaked right before they were launched. I was like, great, we're gonna have another shitty CPU. Got the Pixel 8 Pro, freaking loved it, and fell in the same trap this year. Thought it was not a good CPU. Using this phone, freaking love it. So, but I think next year is when the tide turns. Next year, TSMC is building their new G5 CPU. It shall not disappoint. So I think it's going to be fantabulous, fantastic CPU on the Pixel 10 series. So let me get out of here, guys. I appreciate the time. We'll go live tomorrow, and I'm trying to get a giveaway together for everybody. So just stay tuned to the channel. We'll have a giveaway coming up soon, and got a lot of cool stuff coming. So thank you for the time. Please be safe. Enjoy this Saturday evening, Saturday afternoon, and whenever you're watching this video. And as always, I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out, guys. Take care. Appreciate it, Brian.